Hello, everyone. My name is Karis Kleckner, and I'm currently a sophomore at ASU, and I live in Pennsylvania. Today, I'm going to be presenting my equity literacy presentation for Module 1. To start off, we're going to be going over some career goals and how they relate to equity literacy. So currently, upon graduation, I plan on getting my teaching license and then becoming an elementary teacher for preferably grades 2nd through 4th. Mostly because personally those were my favorite years in elementary school and I've always kind of loved that age. So being able to teach not only what was my favorite years, but also the age group that I kind of want, that's kind of my ideal for choosing those grades. So, how does becoming an elementary teacher relate to equity literacy? Well, it's a crucial part of my future career, and it enables me to create an inclusive classroom environment where all students, regardless of their backgrounds or abilities, can have equal opportunities to exceed. By understanding and addressing the diverse needs of each one of my students, I can implement teaching strategies that accommodate everyone's different learning styles and then always provide additional support to those who may need it. Next, we're going to cover the topic of race, ethnicity, geography, and national origin. Now, one specific example that stood out to me the most was the Black Lives Matter or BLM movement that happened mainly in 2020. So, this movement is, in my opinion, a prime example of equity literacy in action. So, it highlights the racism and violence faced by Black individuals, particularly in the United States, and educates the public about the historical and social context of these inequities. So, by recognizing these injustices during this movement and advocating for the policy changes and promoting continuous activism, the movement embodies the principles of equity literacy as a whole. It encourages individuals also in their own communities to understand, respond to, and sustain efforts towards achieving racial equity and injustice. The next topic we're going to cover is religion and spirituality. This is a personal example. So, for me, I grew up in a Catholic household where we went to church every Sunday, every holiday, you were there. And as I grew older, as I got a job, had other priorities in life, I started going to church less. And then I received backlash from extended family, even though I still believed in my religion, just because I did not show up to church every Sunday. I received backlash from them. So, for me personally, this experience relates to equity literacy because it highlights the need to respect diverse experiences and choices within the same cultural or religious group. Equity literacy involves recognizing and addressing bias and discrimination, even from within one's own community. So, my situation underscores the importance of understanding and respecting individual beliefs and practices in creating an inclusive environment where people feel free to express their faiths in any ways that are meaningful to them. So, the next topic we're going to cover is gender and sexuality and how it relates to equity literacy. So, a specific example, once again, this was a very personable situation as I witnessed it from one of my coworkers. My coworker who was out on her break, about to come in from her break from work, was verbally assaulted, threatened with bodily mutilation by a group of teenage boys parked in a parking lot across the road. And she was harassed because of the way she is, because she is transgender. And in my opinion, this incident highlights the importance of equity literacy by recognizing and addressing bias and discrimination. The verbal assault that my coworker faced is a clear example of transphobia, and equity literacy emphasizes the need to support those who are affected by transphobia and by this bias. It's also important to understand the impact of these such incidents and promote inclusivity among anyone. It's also crucial to create a safe and welcoming environment for everyone, regardless of their identity. And then the last specific topic we're going to cover is class and socioeconomics and how that relates to equity literacy. So for this topic within my research, I found that local food banks not only provide food, which is helpful, but it also provides educational programs. So the example of the local food bank providing both food and educational programs on nutrition and budgeting illustrates equity literacy by addressing immediate needs and empowering individuals for long-term stability. So not only are they providing them with short-term stability by providing them food, but they're also providing them with learning about nutrition and how to budget correctly so that way they can help them out. And by recognizing and understanding the socioeconomic disparities in the community, the food bank tailors its services to meet specific needs of those people. Now, the holistic approach not only provides immediate relief, but also equips individuals with the knowledge and skills to provide their own financial situation. Promoting self-sustained equity and self-sufficiency within the community is also a main goal of food banks doing this. Coming over to my key takeaways for this module as a whole. During this module on equity literacy, one of the most important realizations I had was the profound impact that equity literacy can have on understanding and addressing various forms of bias and discrimination. So, like we talked about with the gender and sexuality, the religious, the BLM movement, it's all a way to address forms of bias and discrimination. Reflecting on how equity and literacy affects race and ethnicity, religion, sex and gender, and socioeconomics, I recognize the importance of being able to identify and challenge inequities of all of these areas. This process highlighted the need for empathy, awareness, and proactive efforts to create inclusive environments where everyone feels valued and respected. It also underscored the interconnectedness of these different aspects of identity and how they collectively shape individual experiences. So overall, throughout this module and throughout taking this project, I learned that equity literacy isn't just within a certain person's self, but it's also in everything that you see. So it's in the religion, it's in everyone, it's in the race and ethnicity, it's in the sex and gender, it's in class and socioeconomics, and they all are important. And it's always important to identify all of the challenges that people face within these areas, within these inequities. And then lastly, we have my references page. And that is all for my project. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah.